In the small, sleepy town of Willowbrook, where secrets whispered in the breeze and time seemed to stretch lazily under the warmth of the sun, two girls, each with a heart that beat wildly for the same man, found themselves on a collision course toward each other. The story of their love, or rather their rivalry, would be woven into the very fabric of the town, known for its charm but soon infamous for the fierce tug-of-war between love and loyalty. Olivia and Lily had been friends since childhood. They shared secrets, dreams, and the kind of friendship that was woven with laughter, joy, and trust. They grew up playing in the same park, running through the same streets, and learning about the world together. Nothing could come between them until he arrived. Elliot was the son of a well-known writer who had recently moved to Willowbrook. With his tousled brown hair and the way his eyes sparkled like the brightest stars in the sky, he was impossible to ignore. He had an effortless charm that captivated everyone around him, but to Olivia and Lily, he was something more. He was the embodiment of everything they had ever wanted in a man. Each of them, at different moments, found themselves drawn to him, but neither said a word to the other, knowing the closeness of their bond. At first, Elliot was friendly, courteous, and respectful. He fit right in with the town's small circle, and soon, both girls found themselves in his orbit. It was innocent at first, shared glances, casual conversations. But as time went on, those glances became longer, more meaningful. The conversations grew deeper, filled with smiles that lingered a little too long. Olivia, the quieter of the two, had always felt like she was content with just being there for Lily. But with Elliot, something stirred within her. It was more than just the way he smiled at her or the way his laughter made her heart skip a beat. There was a connection, one that spoke to her on a level that no one else ever had. She found herself thinking about him constantly, even when they weren't together. In her heart she knew this was something different, something real. But Lily was everything Olivia wasn't. Bold, confident, with a fire inside that burned brightly for all to see. She didn't shy away from her feelings and was known for her unapologetic nature. When she realized that Elliot had been giving Olivia special attention, something stirred within her as well. She could no longer ignore the fact that she, too, had fallen for him. It wasn't just his looks. It was the way he seemed to understand her, the way his presence made her feel safe yet excited. He made her feel like she could be more than just the girl people saw. The first sign of trouble came one evening, when the three of them sat together in the park, the golden sunset bathing the world in warmth. Elliot had invited them both out, and they sat on the old wooden bench overlooking the river. They laughed and joked, but there was an undercurrent to the evening. Olivia and Lily both noticed the way Elliot's eyes lingered on Olivia when she spoke, and the way he laughed just a little too brightly at her jokes. It was subtle, but to both girls it was everything. A small spark that neither of them could ignore. As the days passed, the tension between the two girls grew. First, it was innocent. Olivia would mention something Elliot had said to her in passing, and Lily would smile, trying to remain unaffected. But with every word, every story about him, something darker began to grow inside her. She began to feel possessive, as though the space she had once shared with Olivia was no longer safe. She couldn't help it. Elliot was drawing her in, and she could see him starting to see Olivia in a way he hadn't seen her. Olivia, for her part, had always tried to keep the peace. She tried to convince herself that Lily's feelings were just as valid as hers, but every moment spent with Elliot, every quiet walk, every glance exchanged, made her feel like she was slipping further away from her best friend. Elliot had always made Olivia feel special, but it wasn't just friendship anymore. It was love, and it was consuming her, taking over her thoughts, her dreams. Then, one fateful evening, the truth came crashing down. It was a summer night, warm and heavy with the promise of something wild. Elliot had invited them both to the town's annual bonfire, a tradition that had been passed down for generations. The flames flickered in the distance, and the air was thick with the scent of burning wood and anticipation. Elliot was talking to Olivia when Lily appeared. Her eyes narrowed, a fire burning in her gaze. "Olivia, can we talk?" Lily asked, her voice tight with something unspoken. Olivia's heart raced. She knew in that instant that this conversation would change everything. She stood up and walked a few steps away, her eyes nervously glancing back at Elliot, who was watching them both from a distance. "You're not going to back off, are you?" Lily's voice was low, but there was no mistaking the challenge in her words. "You've seen the way he looks at you. He's not just your friend, Olivia. You know it." "I know," Olivia whispered, her voice trembling. "But I can't help it, Lily. I didn't mean for it to happen, but you're in love with him," Lily finished for her, her eyes flashing with something akin to rage. "And you're going to let him choose you, aren't you?" Olivia felt the sting of guilt in her chest, but she couldn't deny it. She had fallen for him, and there was no turning back. Lily took a deep breath, her eyes burning with determination. "I won't lose him, Olivia. I can't." The words hung between them like a heavy weight, and for the first time in their lives, they were no longer on the same side. The bond that had once been unbreakable was now shattered, fractured by the love they both shared for the same man. The next few days were filled with an unspoken tension, one that could not be ignored. Olivia and Lily avoided each other at all costs, each of them trying to win Elliot's heart in their own way. Olivia, the quieter, more reserved one, poured her heart into every conversation with him, every touch. She held on to the hope that the connection they shared would be enough. Lily, the fiery one, used her boldness to her advantage, making sure Elliot knew just how much she cared for him, never afraid to speak her mind. And Elliot, he was torn. He had grown close to both of them, felt something deep for both. But he could not deny the growing tension between the two girls, the way they seemed to be fighting for his attention. Each time they fought, each time their eyes met across the room with a challenge in them, Elliot felt the weight of their hearts pulling him in two different directions. One evening, unable to bear it any longer, Elliot called the two girls to meet at the park where they had first gathered. The air was thick with unspoken words, the tension palpable. They stood facing each other, Elliot between them. "I don't know what to do," Elliot admitted, his voice full of regret. "I care about both of you, but I can't stand seeing you both like this. I want us to be friends again." But the damage had already been done. The battle for Elliot's heart had begun, and neither Olivia nor Lily could turn back now. The town of Willowbrook would never be the same again. The love triangle that had once been innocent now spread like wildfire, and the relationship between Olivia and Lily became a casualty of their love for Elliot. It was a battle neither of them could win, for in the end, love was not something that could be divided into neat pieces. Elliot left Willowbrook that summer, unable to choose between the two girls who had both given him their hearts. But even as he disappeared into the horizon, leaving Willowbrook behind, Olivia and Lily learned that love is never simple. And sometimes the heart isn't something that can be claimed, but something that can slip away, quietly, without notice. The two girls, once inseparable, would never be the same. But in the aftermath of their fierce rivalry, they found something deeper than love for any man. The understanding that the most important love was the one they had for each other, a love that had, despite everything, survived the storm. And in the end, perhaps that was enough.